my lovelies, it's me, author Alexandrian Fonte, coming to you with a new review. So, it's Friday, and so, on Fridays we do pretty much everything. So, tonight's author is, just one sec, I actually have a cold. No, I don't have coronavirus, but I have a cold for some reason. I think I left my window open and thinking because it was hot in the daytime, not realizing that I guess it would get that cold at night. And I have that big, huge, Cinderella type window. So, Cinderella balcony window, and so I guess it was just too much, and so now I have a freaking cold. But anyway, so please excuse my voice. So tonight's author is, or should I say today, because I'm coming to you guys early. I'm actually off today, but in my own little thingy, or my own little world, I think I've told you guys this. I have 6 books due this year, and 4 of them due by June. So I'm tapping away. And so I'm trying to finish book 15 in the Teacher Between Midnight and Dawn series this week. At least by this weekend. Because I'm pretty much almost finished with it. And Christine, if you're watching, I hope you're ready for it. I know it's been 2 years, and I've been working on other stuff, and then I started 2 other series, so this book is well overdue. But anyway, I'll talk about that a little bit later after I'm done. So anyway, tonight's author is, just one second. Tonight's book is called Burnout, and it's by authors. Come on now, come up. It doesn't want to come up all the way. It's very short, so I'm thinking they might not have put the actual full cover in here. But anyway, I'm gonna try to show it to you. It's called Burnout, and it's by authors Dani Hermit and Nevi Star. So I'm just gonna say Nevi or Nevi. Dani, Dani, is usually a female, so I don't know if the authors are male or female. And then Nevi seems like it would be Nevi or Nevi. Nevi might be a boy, Nevi might be a girl, so I'm not exactly sure. If you are 2 females, I'm so sorry. If you are 2 males, I'm so sorry as well for butchering your names. So, anyway, tonight's book is Male, and it is called Burnout. And here's the cover. Hopefully you guys can see it. And I believe it's at Amazon.com. Since they gifted this to us, I'm not exactly sure where it actually is selling. I'm just going to assume that it's it says Hermit and Star Books. Now, I was under the impression that they were indie authors. I mean, I'm hoping, because this is an indie author channel, but it says Hermit and Star Books. So hopefully they're indie and indie published. So anyway, and so the book basically, it reminded me of the show The Boys. Now, I don't know if anyone out there is watching that show. I freaking love that show. Usually anything that has to do with superheroes, heroes, supernatural, any of that, I'm watching, because I'm a freak for sci-fi, supernatural, paranormal, all of that. I mean, I watch Nancy Drew. I watch, like I said, The Boys. I watch Extant. I watch, I watch all of the DC, Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, Superman, all that. And then Marvel. So I'm pretty much in there. And so if it has to do with superheroes, I normally tend to gravitate toward. And so this book is called Burnouts. And basically what it is a bunch of superheroes and supervillains. And so they are at the time period in their lives where they lost their power. They no longer have power, which is why it kind of reminds me of the show The Boys. They no longer have power, or at least they think they do. And so the main characters, Matt, Colton, Thomas, Catboy, they pretty much, Colton and Matt had a relationship, like way back when they were superheroes. And somehow the relationship fizzled out. Colton like really, really loved him. And Matt was kind of like, I kind of felt like he was a douche about it. And so when his power, they pretty much like beamed off of each other. And they had this, like I said, this is male. And so they had this relationship that was like so awesome, so amazing. But then when the power left him, it was a little like submissive, dominant type relationship. And Colton was like the little nerdy, professor type boy, because he was actually a professor for the agency that they worked for. It's called the darn it. Darn. I forgot my notes, guys. I'm so sorry. But it's like the sanctuary or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. I'm so sorry, guys. But yeah. And so he was actually like a professor for them for a little bit. And then at some point he went to the stone and he got a power, or he got powers. And so, unfortunately, when his power began to sizzle or fade out, and so did Matt, instead of Matt being like adult about it and being like, I know that I'm your anchor, I'm this, I'm that. Instead of expressing his feelings to Colton and telling him that I know you look up to me, I know you think I'm like the world to you, all of these things, I just can't do it right now because of the fact that I don't have my powers and I feel like I don't even know who I am as a person. And so instead of telling him something like that, he just bailed. And so for the last 30 freaking years, Colton has not heard from him, has not seen him. He just abruptly left with no closure, no nothing. And so basically he comes back because his powers are fizzing. And so he comes to Colton and he's like, I wanted to know if you're basically having the same problem. And so Colton is like, wow, after all this time you just show up. But he still loves him. And so he's pretty much like, he's like, we can help you, we can fix it, we could do all these things. So he's trying to help him, and it's like he's pretty much only thinking about himself, Matt. And so he's like, whatever, blah blah blah, blah, and then he leaves. And so Colton is like so pretty much distraught about it that he goes to this sanctuary place, which is basically where they all got their powers from, whether they are villains or superheroes. And so there's one side of the dais that's for heroes, and then the darker side that's like over into the darkness is for villains. And so he goes to this like sanctuary type place, and he's pretty much so distraught and like messed up because this douche came back and was like blah 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 blah. And so he meets he has this alter ego in him, his hero side, which is called Mythos. And so Mythos can't really take over unless he pretty much gives him the power to. And so when he's there, he meets Blue Brain. And Blue Brain is like the arch enemy, the arch villain, the nemesis. And so when he's there, he meets him at the he sees like this shadow of this guy like standing on the dais, and he's like beautiful. He's in this like elegant golden robe and all this stuff, and then he turns his head to the side and he's just like, oh my god, he's beautiful, this and this. And then he realizes who he is, and then he's like, oh crap, so he gets afraid for a little bit, but then he he has this like sort of like mind controlling type power. Mythos does as well, which is Colton. And so every time he goes on the fritz, he causes all these weird things to happen in the world. And so basically, Bluebrain is like, he's talking to him, and then he like caresses his face, and then he's like, oh my god, I would just crave for him to blah 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 blah. Some a lot of this stuff I can't say on the channel because it's a PG channel. But anyway, so they wind up, and basically somehow it got taped, and so everybody in the world is seeing this tape of him pretty much giving himself to Bluebrain. And so people are like distraught, and they're upset, and they're pissed off because they're like, he was a superhero, why would he go to the villain, right? So then he's just like, no, it's not. Matt finds out, or he's at work one day, he works for a warehouse, and then Thomas, which is like, they're called Anvil and Hammer and Anvil. That was their like superpower names, and they were like connected together. And so there's a little animosity against Colton from Thomas, because Thomas was always jealous of the relationship that Colton and Matt had. And so he wasn't sure if he was jealous because he wanted Colton, or he was jealous because he couldn't have the center stage like Colton did with Matt. And so basically, there's always been that like little small animosity that he had against Colton. And so when he's talking to Matt, he's like, yeah, I know you've seen what's going on. What did you do to him? Did you go there? Did you rip his heart out? Blah, 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 blah. And so he's saying all this stuff to him. And Matt's like, I don't even know what you're talking about, man. I realized that it was a mistake of me going there, and so I left. And then he was like, yeah, but did you tell him that? Blah, blah, blah. So he's pretty much reading him the riot act. And he's like, I don't even know what you're talking about, DH. And so basically he shows him the video, and he's like, look. And then so he's like, no, that's not Colton. He has to have done something to him. And so basically what they do after this is they go to find Colton to be able to save him from this Bluebrain. And so a lot of stuff happens that I can't like actually say on the channel, intimacy and all that stuff. And then they find Colton in his little cubbyhole where Matt had pretty much left him. But by then Colton is pretty much gone, and Mythos has taken over. And so Bluebrain shows up as Matt in like when he was like 19, 20 years old. And so Thomas has no clue that it's not like his sane brain is telling him that that's not Matt, but his lusty brain, or whatever you want to call it, doesn't want to hear that. And so basically they wind up doing some things that I can't say on the channel either. But and so Matt comes in, and Matt is like, what the hell? He's watching the entire scene. And so basically him and Thomas get into it, and Thomas is like, no, I thought it was you. I thought you said to do this. But what it was Bluebrain tricked them. And so they get to see basically how much power he really has as the arch enemy. And so basically they are spending them. They are trying to get Colton back instead of Mythos, because Mythos has pledged himself to Bluebrain. No matter what, he's going to do his bidding. So, and that is where I'll stop, because the rest of the book is very risque. And so, anyway, so if I had to judge this book, if I had to give this book a star rating, I would give this book a 4 stars, because it was funny, it was sexy, it was like, it kept you on the edge of your seat. It kept you engrossed. And because of the fact that I like superheroes, I like the fact that they were burnt out superheroes and supervillains who were basically getting their power back after all this time. 30 years passed, and you would have thought like you were just pretty much out of it. And so the simple fact that they're getting these powers back, and they don't know how to, I felt like they didn't know how to control them, getting them back again. They weren't what they used to be. And so now they pretty much have to relearn to be superheroes and be villains and all of this stuff. And so I really like this book. And like I said, if I had to start, I would give it a 4 stars. And I really think like readers should go and pick this up. It kind of reminded me of it kind of reminded me of anime too. Like it's a cross between anime and like maybe cartoon. I mean, because if you look at the characters on the cover, they remind you of an anime series too. I read anime and manga too, and so that's what they remind me of, and like I could totally see this. You know, they look like Sailor, and so anyway, if I had to, like I said, if I had to start this book, I would start a 4 stars, and I really liked it, and I want you guys to go out and pick up this book. It's called Burnouts, and it's by author Dani Hermit and Nevi Star. And I believe you can find it at Amazon.com. I'm pretty sure. I'm not exactly sure because they didn't give me a listing of where their books could be found. Or they didn't give Jen one, I should say. And so, that's pretty much it. This is a good book. Go out and get it. And if you like, and even if you're like not into male, the story itself is a good read. You can just flip over that if you're not comfortable with that. But the story is, see, I don't have any taboos. I don't have any triggers. So basically there isn't much that you could send me that I wouldn't, you know, I would say, I guess the only one that I would have that I will not read is rape scenes. I don't really cotton those. If it doesn't progress the story, if it's in a dark romance, then I don't fault the author because of the fact that it's a dark romance and it might be fetish. May not be my thing. I would read it just because I try not to be, I try not to judge people, and if that's something someone wanted, it's not my thing to tell them what they can do or what they can't do with their body. If it's consensual, if it's in that respect, you know, do you. But I won't say that we won't in the context of a dark romance. I won't say that we won't read that because Jen and I probably would. But if it's like a violent scene, like, you know, I don't even know. I can't even know because nowadays it's very hard to say, you know, because something that someone might see as rape, someone else might not. So that's a really touchy subject. I would say send in your work, and if you don't see it on the channel, that means that we didn't want it, or that means that we couldn't read it if you haven't seen it on the channel yet. Like, there are some authors out there that we haven't read yet, so don't think it's you. I don't mean that toward you. We just haven't gotten around to you yet. But like, if you have a really seriously taboo book and you send it to us and you don't see a review for it within a timely manner, then I would send us an email and ask us, because it might be something that we feel is too taboo for the audience. Maybe not for us, but for the audience, because of the fact that we have to keep this a PG channel. Even though I am reviewing dark romances and that kind of stuff, it's why I leave out that stuff. I can't say that stuff yet. Once the channel is actually recognized and we get up there to where we have like 1,000 subscribers and 1,000 views, or 4,000 views, I think it is, or something like that. We won't have to worry about that anymore. Then I can come in here and curse a blue streak as long as I click the video being not for children. But until then, yeah, until we get those 1,000 subscribers, YouTube won't recognize us if I have any like really dark stuff on there. Because there are some reviews that I would love to get. Like Cindy, the reviewer. I love her reviews. I would love to be able to give reviews like that. I think the audience would love those so much better, but I can't do them right now. So once we get our 1,000 subscribers, you will get to see my real personality, and you will get to see how I would really review a book. But I can't do that right now because of the fact that we haven't gotten those subscribers yet. So tell your friends to subscribe. Tell your fellow authors to come and subscribe to our channel and send in their work, because I noticed we had a lot of people viewing the videos, but now it's like we get 1 or 2 hits to these reviews. So I'm really sad about that, because you know, this is still people's work, so support them, guys. Watch their videos, give it a like, give them a shout out, you know, tell other people about the review channel if they love indie authors. And that's pretty much it for today. So as far as moi is concerned, yeah, we will probably have short reviews all next week. I'm not exactly sure yet because of the fact that unless I can coerce Jen to come on the channel, or maybe do some guest reviewership or reviewers. I will probably be cutting them short because, like I said, I'm on a deadline as well. I have these 6 books to get out, and I was actually working on Teaching Between Midnight and Dawn. My book 15 is called Best Laid Plans. Yeah, right. And so basically, yeah, I have 6 books to get out this year. For that series alone, for those series alone, that doesn't include like the historical romance that I write or the contemporary. I stopped writing contemporary except for 2 series. So I have to finally finish one of those series, Grave Reviews, which is like a little serial series that the books don't go over, they barely go over 100 pages. And it's like a see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil mystery suspense series. So I have to finally finish that with book 5. And then the Chefs Like It Hot, the spicy chef series. If you guys like books where you get lots of delicious recipes and amazing characters, go over there and check that out too. It's basically, I have to finish all of those up. So I will probably have shortened reviews next week, just to let you guys know, just to give you a heads up. And so tonight's author, once again, authors Dani Hermit and Nevi Star, and the book is called Burnouts. And you guys, please go out here and get this book, because this book was really, really good. And if you like male, you'll love this book, because some of these scenes were like lusciously hot. So basically, go out and get this book. I'm telling you, you will enjoy it. You will love it. I give this book a 4 stars. And that's pretty much it. I will see you guys mañana when I bring you one of my housemates. We will be reading, just a second. We will be reading Arlie Parker's Night Moves. And I really love this book because it was really good. Here's the cover. Night Moves. I really like this book. The crazy part is that for a little bit in the book, you actually like the villain like deliciously. So I don't know if she meant to write him that well, but for a time in the book, I actually liked him. Or maybe because he was a douche and the things that he was doing. He's very domineering. So I kind of actually liked him for a little bit until he did what he did, which basically puts him in forever as the role of the villain. But this book is called Night Moves, and it is a paranormal romance. It's werewolves. So once again, tomorrow we will be reviewing Night Moves. And then on Sunday, we will be reviewing... Just a second. Just 1 second. I believe we will be reading, or we will be reviewing, I should say. Now, I believe she is an indie author as well. We didn't get any, unfortunately, we haven't gotten any YA. I'm not sure why, but I'm going to have to go troll the groups again for more YA. And then we got some new submissions in this week. So Jen is like checking them out right now. And so basically, we got some new submissions to some new subscribers to the channel, and we got some new submissions. So hopefully there is some YA among that too. And so next on Sunday we will be reading Bitten by Noelle Marie, and I believe this is Jen sent this to me, so I'm making her do research just to make sure that she is an indie author as well. But here's the cover. It's called Bitten, and if not, we won't be reading this because we only review indie authors, and so we just kind of feel like the regular mainstream authors, whether white, black, whatever, they have marketing people to market their books for them. So they don't necessarily need a indie review channel like this to review their books. I kind of feel like they don't need us because I have been traditionally published, and indie published, and I know I had a team of marketers and media from the publishing company doing the publicity for the two books that they had. And if your company is not doing your marketing and your publicity, then you got some problems. You need to look at that contract. And so basically that's why we only pretty much do indie on this channel. One might slip in every now and again, but the majority of the authors that we do are indie only. So that's pretty much it. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks bunches, and peace and love. Bye.